Hi, I'm Sue Bullock, the Training Lady. In this session, I'll be looking at using Dragon Naturally Speaking with Inspiration 10. I'll be covering the diagram view, mind map, and outline view. At the end of this video, there'll be a link to the shortcut key commands that you can use with Inspiration 10. Right, let's get started. If you've used mind mapping software before, you will know how effective creating maps can be getting your thoughts and ideas organised. A concept map is a type of graphic organiser used to help you organise and represent knowledge of a subject. The mind map is a visual form of note-taking, helping you visualise all your facts and information. Don't forget the outline mode. This is a fundamental part of the process and is particularly useful for restructuring your ideas into a more cohesive or linear format. So let's use Inspiration to create a visual map or a diagram map. Wake up. Click Start. Inspiration 10. Press Enter. When you open the Inspiration program, you're presented with the Inspiration Starter screen. Here you can navigate this screen using your voice. You can use the Command tab to move through the different options. When you've selected the one you want, we use the Command Enter. So let me just demonstrate that for you. Press Tab. Press Tab. If you want to go back through the options, the command is Shift Tab. Press Shift Tab. Press Shift Tab. Press Enter. So we're starting with a diagram view. And I want to customize this a little bit first. A lot of people find looking at a white screen can be quite oppressive, and if you have a visual stress, then this can exacerbate that. So what I want to do is just put some color onto the background there. So we need to go up into the menu bar. So some of the Dragon commands are standard commands that you would use, what they call global commands, and some of the commands are very specific commands for the Inspiration program itself. When we're selecting menu items, those would be global commands. Click Effect. Background color. Move down 3. Move right 1. Press Enter. You may also want to change the symbol. The default one is the oval shape. There are a number of symbol shapes that you can change to. If you look on the left on the symbols palette, you'll see the options there. And we can change them by using the command press Control, and each one is numbered. Press Control 2, press Control 3, press Control 4, press Control 5, press Control 6. Now, I personally like the slightly rounded square, so I'm going to go back to number 3. Press Control 3. You can also set your preferred font style. There are obviously a number of fonts, and to select them can be a little challenging. We do have to move up and down through the menu to get these. You can, on some of these fonts, click by voice. So I will try and select Arial from this. Click Text, Font, click Arial, and now we have Arial as our font. Now, one of the other things that I always like to do is to have the notes available and open. When you're dictating here, you can add in notes to expand on your information. And to have the little symbol visible means that as a quick overview, you can see that those notes are on and where you've added the notes. So we're just going to add those in now. Click View. Quick Controls. Click Always Show. Now, to set the default, we've got the command press Control J. This will allow us to format all the symbols that follow this in the same format. You can change a symbol also to a format by using the command press Control Shift J. We're just going to set the format now. Press Control J. There we are. So we will all have the same formatting now. So to actually create the content, we need to add in more symbols. And today we're going to do a little mind map, just how we might set up the structure of an essay. It's by no means all-encompassing, but it might get you started. So we need to give the map a title. Now, because the main idea is already here, we need to actually select that first to be able to overtype it. Subsequent branches, we would just be able to dictate straight into. So let's add in the title, Structuring an Essay. Press Enter. Select all. Caps on, Structuring an Essay. Press Escape. So we may want to add in additional symbols to expand on the map. We can add these by using the command press Control and then the direction that we want to go. So if I said press Control up, I would put one above, Control right to the right, and so on. So I'm going to add in another symbol. Press Control up. Analyze the question. Press Escape. I can add additional branches by using right and down and left. So I'm going to add in a couple more. Press Home. Press Control right. Introduction. Press Escape. Press Home. Press Control down. Main essay body. Press Escape. Press Home. Press Control left. Conclusion. Press Escape. So having structured the first level of information, the first ideas, we want to expand on those and we need to break down what we would put in there. Let's add some symbols to the analyze the question. Press Home. To navigate around, we need to use the command press Shift and then the direction. Press Shift up. Now I want to use a tool here called Rapid Fire. And what Rapid Fire does, it allows me to brainstorm my ideas and add them very quickly. The command for that is press Control R. Now, obviously with my local accent, I have an issue with the letter R and Dragon doesn't always appreciate this. So I'm going to use Romeo, which you can use the phonetic alphabet to replace letters. Press Control Romeo. That little lightning strike there just tells you that you're active and that we can add in. And when we've added an idea, we press Enter, which will then push us up into another symbol. Caps on, define keywords. Press Enter. Caps on, identify main concepts. Press Enter. Caps on, identify writer's position. Press Enter. Now you'll see there with the rapid fire that it actually puts the branches, the symbols, where it wants to put them. We can manually navigate these, or we can use the auto arrange tool. And I will look at auto arranging later on, but just for sort of speed and efficiency, I'm just going to pull them into position manually. So then I'm going to continue adding in the additional ideas for each of the main points. So I'm going to expand on these. We're going to go to introduction next, and we'll use the same rapid fire tool to add in these. Press Control Romeo. State thesis. Press Enter. Present main idea of essay. Press enter. Provide background information. Press enter. And again, I'm just going to reorder those just so that they flow nicely. Here we are. And you can see very quickly we can build up these layers of ideas. Now we might find that we want to actually expand more an idea, but without adding more symbols. We maybe want to just remind ourselves what we mean by a topic idea. So one of the things that we can do is we can actually add in notes to these. So I'm going to use the thesis to remind myself to put something interest grabbing in there so that you know, we catch the reader straight away. So I'm going to add a note to this, and we use the command press Ctrl Y to add a note. Press Ctrl Y. And you'll see we have our little sticky note. And I'm going to just type some text in this box. Use an interest-grabbing quote or a question to hook the reader. Full stop. Press Ctrl Y. And you'll see when that note is closed, there's a little symbol just to the right-hand side here. And that just tells me that I have some information that maybe I'll need to refer back to as I go along. Now, I can change the color of those notes if I want to. If I just reopen that note, press Ctrl Y, click Effect, click Fill Color, move down 3. Move right 1. Press enter. Click Effect. Click Line Color. Move down 1. Move down 1. Press enter. Press Ctrl Y. Those might be too close to the colours of my branches, to be honest, but they look quite good to me. So once we've started doing this, let's complete this and get the main ideas back out onto the map here. So I'm just going to click here. We're going to use rapid fire just to add in all the remaining ideas that I have for each one of these symbols. Press Ctrl Romeo. Start each paragraph with a topic sentence. Press enter. Write supporting details, comma, defending topic. Press enter. Strongest points should go first and last. Press enter. Explain examples in relation to the main idea. Press enter. All arguments for and against must be supported by examples. Press enter. End with concluding sentence. Press enter. And again, I'm just going to pull these back into the sequence. Now, this is where the auto arrange would be quite useful when you've got a lot of information and you can have different styles to do that. So if we have a quick look at maybe doing that with the voice control, I think this is a good time to have a look at that. So the voice control to open the auto arrange is press Ctrl 7. Press Ctrl 7. Click OK. And you'll see that puts that into a top-down style there. And it makes each of the branches, the symbols, easier to look at. Now, obviously, a lot of this map is now not visible on the screen. So we can zoom in and we can zoom out on the map. And there's a couple of ways to do that. To zoom in, we can use the press Ctrl equal sign, and to zoom out, press Ctrl hyphen, or we can fit to screen using press Control E. Press Control Echo. And you'll see there it now fits onto my screen. I've got a few more bits to add into this. I'm going to go back to my original map style. So I'm just going to do an undo here. Undo that. Okay, so again, I'm just going to restructure this. There we are. And just to finish off this little section here, I'm just going to add in the final ideas. And just to reiterate, I'm just going to use the command to put them in sort of in a position where we want them. Press Control left arrow. Restatement of thesis, comma, but do not duplicate. Press Escape. Press Control R. Summarize main points without repeating. Press Enter. Final statement tied to introduction. Press Enter. There we are, and there we have the basis for your essay plan. So once you've created your map and you're working on the information, you might find having too much information on the screen is distracting. And one of the things that you can do with this is you can show and hide levels of information, and you can actually focus in on particular areas. So if we click onto the introduction here, for example, and there's a command that we can use which will show and hide the levels called press Control Shift H. Press Control Shift H. And you'll see it just hides those sub-symbols. So if you're working on a topic, you may find having too many of the sub-symbols are distracting for you and that you're focusing on just those sort of main ideas. That will help you with focus. To bring them back, it's just the same command. Press Control Shift H. One of the other things that you can do is you can also focus in on a selected area. So if you're just working on the introduction, you don't want to see the rest of the map, you can actually zoom in and just work on the idea and its sub-ideas. So let's just show you that. That's press Control Shift X. Press Control Shift X. There we are. So now I'm just focusing on this. I can work this in its entirety. Once I've completed this section, I can bring it back and move on to the next section. To bring this back, it's Control Shift Y. Control Shift Y. And there we are. There's the rest of our map. So one of the things that we always recommend you do is actually look at your map in a linear format. Look at it how it might look if you were exporting it to a document. And we do that using the outline view. It's a very quick way of helping you restructure your ideas. It will show you the format that it would present if you were exporting it as a document. You can add in here exactly the same way as you can in the map view, but again, some people prefer to type the notes in the linear format because you can see it all in one list, as it were. So the command to move into the outline view is press Control T. Press Control T. So like we did with the diagram view, you maybe want to format this a little bit. I'm not great with Roman numbers, so I'm going to change this to a slightly easier format for me to view. So we need to select the map first, or the outline view first, and we do that using Control A. Press Control A. Again, we can change the font, we can change the prefix labels. So to change the font, click Text, Font, click Arial, click Edit, Prefix Labels, click Legal. And again, we want to make sure that everything is formatted in the same way. So we're going to use our press Ctrl J to set the default. Press Ctrl J. There we are. So everything now will be formatted in the same way. Now, if we wanted to add to this, we can add in branches here. I've noticed in my essay here, I've not mentioned anything about adding in references or resources. So I'm going to add in a resource here. Press Home. Press Ctrl K. References. Press Ctrl K. Google Scholar. Move up 1. When you are adding in the symbols, you always need to tell it where it's coming from. If I had continued to add from there, I would have added a subsection to the Google Scholar. You can navigate the map by using the move up, move down command, and that will move you through each of the symbols. So I'm going to add one more here. This will be controversial. Press Ctrl K. Wikipedia, exclamation mark. I'm going to add a little note to this. Press Ctrl Y. Most people say not to use Wikipedia, comma. However, as a starting point, it can be very useful. At the bottom of a page, you'll find links to other resources, which could be a good starting point. Full stop. Now, I maybe would want to bring the resources or the references down to the bottom of my mind map here. So I can actually move these by using the command press shift down arrow. So I'm just going to try that. Press escape. Move up. Press shift down. Press shift down. Press shift down. Press shift down. There we are. So that's now, I think, in the right order. You can also change the hierarchy of ideas. So if something needs to be a subsection of another idea, you can do that. And the command to do that is press shift right. So if I just say here, press shift right, that becomes a subsection of the conclusion. If I want to make it a higher level, so make it an idea, I can move it back the other way. Press shift left. Now, one of the things that I might want to do is to actually add in a link to a website. So, for example, if I wanted a hyperlink to Google Scholar so that when I'm doing my referencing there, I can find easily, we can quickly add those. And this will work on the diagram view and in the outline view, and also we'll look at later in the map view. Move down 2. Press Ctrl Shift 6. Within hyperlinks, you can add in web pages, you can add in a link to an email, you can add in a file. So this could be very useful if you're working through a lot of information. You can add in links to PowerPoint slides. You could add in links to video files. So anything you can open on your computer, you could actually link to. You can also link yourself to a new inspiration document. So if you wanted to layer information, you could actually do this as well. I'm just going to add the Google Scholar email address here. www.scholar.google.com. Click OK. And you'll see there Our little Google Scholar is now blue. If I clicked onto that link, that would actually take us to the active site. Fantastic. So we've spent all this time creating our plan. You need to work with it now. You need to do something with that. And it's quite nice to see the fruits of your labour presented as a document. So there's a couple of things that we can do with the mind mapping. We can convert it to a Word document, and then it could be, if this was the actual essay, it would be your first draft. Before I export to Word, I just want to check an overview of the map. So I'm going to go back to the diagram view, press Ctrl T, and you'll see it's added some interesting things from my references here. So I'm just going to pull this up here, and I'm going to just bring these up to match. Seem to have acquired a stranger. So let's go back and export this now. Click File. Click Transfer to Word Processor. Click OK. Now this is just opened up on my other screen, the joys of using two screens. I'm just going to bring this over so you can see. So what you have is the map overview, and then underneath there you have each of your headings, each of the subheadings. Anywhere you've written notes, you'll have the little note information there. And any of your hyperlinks are actually active and they will open. So again, a great way to store your resources. You won't see this, but again, this is just opened onto my other screen there. With the map, you can also export to PowerPoint as well. And exporting to PowerPoint, it's quite a logical process actually when you think about it. When you're creating a PowerPoint, you tell the reader what you're talking about. That's your main idea in the middle. You then tell them specifically what you're going to talk about, your learning outcomes. So that would be your first level of symbol. You then have your specific talking points, so the elements that you want to tell them, and that would be your subtopics. So let's just export this to PowerPoint. Click File, Export to PowerPoint. Click Save. You even get a choice of backgrounds. I'm very partial to autumn, so I'm going to move over to the autumn one. Move right 4. Press Enter. Now the PowerPoint, unlike the Word document, doesn't open. You do need to navigate and you need to go get this file. So there you'll see you've got your PowerPoint created by using your map view. So often your lecturers and things, if this was an essay, they might say do an essay draft, do a sort of a preview, an outline. You could use Inspiration to create that. It would be very easy to do using this. And you'll see each branch creates a separate PowerPoint slide. As well as a diagram view, there's also the mind map view. And a mind map is a visual representation of hierarchical information that includes a central idea surrounded by connected branches of associated topics. It has a main starting point, and the closer to that main starting point an idea is, the more relevant that idea will be. Each subsequent lower branch then supports that idea. So to go into the map view, we use a command to create a new one, which is press Ctrl N. Press Ctrl N. We're presented with the same Inspiration starter screen. If you remember, we can use Tab to navigate this. Tab 2 times. Press Enter. I'll format the background again for comfort. So some people are not are averse to looking at white. So we'll use the global command, click Effect, background color, move down 3, move right 1, press Enter. You'll see that the central idea is already highlighted, so by voice we can just over-type this. Caps on, structuring an essay. Press escape. Escaping just enters into that branch and solidifies the information. We then need to navigate to the branches, so we're going to navigate to the orange branch first. Mind mapping always tends to run in a clockwise order, so we'll start with the top orange one there, and we use the command Shift right, Shift left, Shift up, Shift down to navigate. Press Shift right. Analyze the question. To add a branch to this, we use the command Press Tab. To add a branch at the same level, we use the command Press Shift Tab. Press Tab. Caps on to find keywords. Press Shift Tab. Identify main concepts. Press Shift Tab. Identify writer's position. Press Escape. To go to the next branch, we need to move back to the Analyze Question positions that we can move down to the blue branch. We do that using the Shift Left command. Press Shift Left. Press Shift Down. Cap Introduction. Press Tab. State Thesis. Press Shift Tab. Present Main Idea. Press Shift Tab. Provide background information. Press Escape. Press Shift Left. Press Home. Press Shift Left. Press Shift Down. Caps on, main essay body. Press Tab. Start each paragraph with a topic sentence. Press Shift Tab. Write supporting details. Press Shift Tab. Strongest points go first. Press Shift Tab. End with concluding sentence. Press Escape. Press Shift right arrow. Press Shift up. Cap conclusion. Press Tab. Restatement of thesis. Press Shift Tab. Summarize main points. Press Shift Tab. Final statement. Press Escape. Press Home. So you can see it's very easy to create the mind map using the Tab and the Shift Tab commands to add in ideas to expand on your topics. You may want to also add in some notes to an idea. You might want to expand on an idea or to tell yourself why you're going to use a particular idea. I'm going to use the state thesis to add in some information there. Press Shift right. Press Shift down, press Shift right. And the command to add in a note is Control Y. Press Control Y. Use an interest-grabbing quote or question. Press Control Y. And you'll see there's a symbol there to the writer's state thesis that tells us there's a note attached to this. We might also want to add another branch or many more branches, and we can do that with the command Press Control K. Again, we need to tell it where the idea is coming from, so I'm going to go back to the central idea. Press Home. Press Control K. Now you might want to change the colour of the branch. You can do that by using the Effect menu. Click Effect, Branch Colour, move down 4, move right 4, press Enter. References, press Tab, Google Scholar, press Shift tab, Wikipedia, press Shift up. Now I might want to add a link to get to Google Scholar, or many other reference sources that I may have found for the topic. And you can use a hyperlink to be able to link to that and be able to navigate straight into an internet browser for that. So the command for that is press Control Shift 6. Press Control Shift 6, www.scholar.google.com, click OK. And there you'll see the text has gone blue. That's an active link. If I clicked onto that, that would take me to my internet browser and Google Scholar would be my title. You can also export this to the outline view in exactly the same way as we did with the diagram view, and that's the command press Control T, press Control T, press Control T. Hopefully with all of this information, you'll be able to get your thoughts and ideas down in a nice cohesive way, helping you to write your essay or to plan assignments. And really from me, that's it. So thank you very much for your time.